Tonight, the Raptors superfan is honored by the Basketball Hall of Fame.
This you can't dream of. This is unbelievable.
Nav Bhatia gets the good news as NBA All-Star Weekend kicks off in Chicago. We'll take you there live. Plus,
name is Dennis Gray, calling you from Revenue Agency CRA.
CBC News is there as a Brampton couple is arrested in connection with those overseas phone scams. Plus, we'll tell you about Asialicious, a 2-week campaign to help restaurants rebound from a drop in business over misinformation around the coronavirus. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. The focus of the basketball world may be on Chicago for this weekend's NBA All-Star Weekend, but a diehard Raptors superfan is also claiming a bit of the spotlight tonight. We want to take you to our Greg Ross, who's live for us in Chicago, where the Rising Stars champion game just wrapped up. But Greg, we'll talk about that in a second. For now, tell us about this honor for Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia.
Yeah, not a bad day for Canadians here in Chicago today, Mike. Nav Bhatia, a surprise announcement today. I guess he knew about it for a few weeks, but this was news to us. Not the NBA Hall of Fame, but the Basketball Hall of Fame, deciding to honor Nav Bhatia, the Raptors superfan, as part of a new gallery that they're adding to the Hall of Fame. It's going to be the Superfan Gallery, and Nav Bhatia is going to be one of the first two people that will be honored in that gallery at the Hall of Fame. So a great day for Nav Bhatia. We actually were able to catch up with him shortly after that was made official by the Hall of Fame today. Here's what he had to say. Basketball Hall of Fame has a pretty nice ring to it.
I'm in shock. I am really in shock. First, the championship in Oakland, then being the Grand Marshal of the biggest parade in history of any sports, then the biggest player ring to be given to a non-player, to a fan, and now this. This you can't dream of. This is unbelievable.
But tonight's event is the Rising Stars Challenge. The game just wrapped up a few minutes ago. You're in the media center right there. I see players coming behind you. There's a lot of young talent representing the GTA in that game tonight.
Yeah, Mike, a big night for Canadians, despite the fact that the world team actually lost. They got trounced by the U.S., but RJ Barrett with 20-plus points in this game. We've got players coming in behind us, so I got to keep it down. But 3 of the 4 Canadians in this game in double digits, so a great night for the Canadians, and we're going to hop in here and find out more about this. They're telling us to shut this down. But, Mike, we'll send it back to you knowing that Friday, the first day of this All-Star Weekend, a good one for Canadians.
Okay, we'll watch that. Thanks a lot, Greg. Greg Ross live for us in Chicago, the NBA weekend, All-Star Weekend. Well, back here in the GTA, a husband and wife from Brampton are under arrest tonight in connection with those infamous CRA telephone scams. The RCMP announced what they call a significant disruption to those scams today, which have been plaguing Canadians for years. The CBC's David Common and his team at Marketplace investigated that scam, prompting the RCMP to take action. He brings us the latest.
Investigators arrested and charged 2 people in connection to these transnational scams.
RCMP investigators spent nearly a year investigating a Toronto area husband and wife. And CBC was there when both were arrested, accused of being accomplices to the overseas scams Canadians know all too well.
My name is Dennis Gray, calling you from Revenue Agency CRA.
The tax scam, SIN card scam, and many others run out of Indian call centers by organized crime.
There will be legal consequences and you will be arrested to defraud the government.
CBC Marketplace has investigated them for years, even getting a hidden camera inside one call center. They are lucrative. Investigators today displaying thousands in cash recovered from the couple's home, along with a money-counting machine and more than $100,000 in jewelry. The couple are accused of being money mules, collecting money from victims in Canada and sending them to crime bosses in India.
We have disrupted the necessary flow of money from Canada to India, which will have a big impact on the operation and the bottom line of the scammers.
Good for them. Good for them. It's about bloody time.
Former fraud investigator Mark Simchison believes the arrests send a clear message.
This is going to be a deterrent for sure. We're going to get our co-conspirators that are here in this province thinking twice about, oh, I thought we were untouchable, and they're not.
Police say those phone calls, though, are unlikely to stop, though the arrests have hit at the wallet of a scam we all know too well.
Now that report from David Common. Now that couple have yet to appear in court to submit a plea in response to the charges. You can learn more about this week's episode of Marketplace. They have exclusive access to the arrests and more detail on the RCMP's undercover investigation. You can find it online or stream it on the CBC GEM app. The federal Indigenous Services Minister will meet tomorrow with Mohawks blocking train tracks just outside of Belleville. That's just one of many high-level consultations underway trying to resolve protests in support of Indigenous land rights that have disrupted transportation across the country for 9 days now. VIA now says it has canceled 299 trains, affecting about 63,000 passengers. And more businesses and people are now demanding Ottawa get trains moving again fast. Today, the Transport Minister insisted those calls are being heard.
The government has been working every day ever since this happened. I can assure you that we've been engaging both amongst federal ministries with the companies that are affected, CN, VIA, CP, as well as with our provincial counterparts. So we've been actively engaged on trying to find the best solution and as quickly as possible.
Marc Arnault says the rail blockade brought new urgency to his annual meeting today with his provincial and territorial counterparts. National Indigenous leaders also attended. And in BC, Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Carolyn Bennett is taking part in talks between the province and the hereditary chiefs who first began the protest over construction of a new gas pipeline across their lands. Well, if you were outside at all today, you have felt the biting cold. It's been the coldest day of the year so far, with temperatures going as low as -15, but feeling like -20 or colder with that wind chill. An extreme cold weather alert was issued yesterday for the city, still in effect. Everyone's encouraged to stay indoors, but those who need to venture outside should make sure they dress warmly. Colette Kennedy's here with her first look at the forecast, and you got a Valentine's Day treat for us. You're predicting some warmer temperatures.
Yes, we are going to see these temperatures, you know, so short-lived, so cold, but so short-lived. They're going to be coming back as soon as tomorrow in terms of getting closer to seasonal. But just to give you a recap, so this is 8 a.m. this morning, not even necessarily the coldest readings we saw, but close to it. So -20 Toronto, Windsor -14, and the nation's capital at -25 there. Those were the temperatures, so the wind chills felt like -30 to -35. And then even through to the afternoon hours, this is what's kind of interesting, is that we tried to climb, but it was a tough slog. -11, we got actually our daytime high just a little bit milder than that, but it's hard to say mild, isn't it? And Windsor in the afternoon hours, -7. They're still very, very cool. Now, we get the winds from the southwest. They're going to be breezy tomorrow, but they're going to help push our temperature back to seasonal. High pressure moves away. Clouds late day are going to thicken up, and then it's going to be overnight. Saturday night into Sunday, we may get just a bit of a dusting of snow. Nothing too significant, but just know that that's coming through. Tonight, -15 with partly cloudy skies. Still cold, feeling like -23, but there you go. Wow, what an improvement. Now, again, it is going to be breezy, Mike, so there'll still be a wind chill factor in there, but big change from today.
I will take that change even with the breeziness. Thanks a lot, Colette.
You're welcome.
Canada is confirming another case of COVID-19, the coronavirus disease, this one in British Columbia. There are now just 2 cases here in Ontario, and while health officials maintain the risk to the public remains low, many Chinese restaurants and businesses continue to see a drop in business. Tonight, just in time for Valentine's Day, there is a new initiative to encourage people to pay them a visit. Angelina King explains.
It's a bustling night at Lana Thai restaurant in Markham, but lately it hasn't been this busy.
At the beginning, it's a very impact a lot, say around 30 to 40%.
Asian businesses in the GTA have seen a sharp decline in customers since the coronavirus hit.
Lobster, 31.
Chef Tim Chen says business has been improving. Politicians have been holding events at restaurants to show their support. And now there's an entire event dedicated to just that. Asialicious kicked off tonight. A take on Winterlicious, more than 100 Asian restaurants in Markham and across the GTA are hoping to combat misinformation and stigmatization, all through food.
In Canada, in Toronto, we are safety, so don't worry about that. Please come to have a good meals.
And each restaurant participating has special offers, or they're serving special signature dishes like this chicken gristle served in a nest at Grandma's home in Markham. The restaurant has been open for just over a year. Managers say while they've seen a 50 to 75% decline in business, they aren't letting it affect them.
We still have confidence. As long as there is one customer, we will do our best to serve the best dishes.
In addition to fewer customers, some restaurants have experienced prank phone calls, nasty reviews, and flat-out racist remarks online. All while health officials are saying the risk of actually getting coronavirus in Canada remains low, and these customers understand that.
We're going to keep supporting it and do whatever we can to squash all those feelings, ill feelings anyways, towards the restaurants.
Just get together and do things as usual. I think that's how you should treat a virus at this time.
It makes no difference to go to a Western restaurant or a Chinese restaurant.
We try to keep the economy running as usual. We shouldn't be worried about it.
Asialicious runs for 2 weeks. Angelina King, CBC News, Markham.
I just see the cars going by so fast. I've seen them run over the curve so much.
Coming up, cash grab or necessity? Ontarians sound off on photo radar, and why one community that rallied to have them installed won't be getting them. That story after the break. Ten women have launched a class action lawsuit against Canadian clothing manufacturer Peter Nygaard. They accuse the millionaire businessman of raping them at his mansion in the Bahamas, some of them when they were minors. Now, Nygaard denies the allegations. 3 of the women say they were 14 years old at the time. 3 others say they were 15. They state the alleged assaults took place between 2008 and 2015, saying Nygaard operated what they call a sex trafficking ring and that some of the girls were drugged. Now, no criminal charges are associated with this case. Nygaard's lawyer says the accusations are, quote, completely false and without foundation. The women are not named in the suit to protect their identities. CBC Toronto got a look at the results of a government consultation last year looking at whether Ontarians wanted to bring back photo radar. Some called it a cash grab, but twice as many were in favor of using cameras to automatically ticket speeding drivers. Now, those who were for it talked about their personal experiences and their fears about speeding in school zones. One person saying, "I live in a 50-kilometer-an-hour community safety zone and regularly see drivers going by at double that." A cyclist who had been hit by a car said, "The crosswalks near my house are death traps as drivers do not stop. Enough is enough." Most people who were against photo radar said it was a money grab from the government, and others expressed concern about the scope of the project. One person saying, "Just no, totally unsportsmanlike, like shooting fish in a barrel." And others said, "First it will start in school zones and then roll out everywhere." And parents and staff in one particular school zone were really hoping to get a camera in their neighborhood. They made their case during public consultations last year, arguing Allenby Public School near Eglinton and Avenue Road was an ideal spot. But they found out they're not one of the communities that'll be getting one. Ali Chiasson explains.
Believe it or not, you're looking at a school zone. This is what it's like to be a kid walking to Allenby Junior Public School.
Because I just see the cars like going by so fast. I've seen them like run over the curve so much.
I've been a principal here for 5 years, and there's been too many days in which I've run out of the building to make sure that our students are okay because of an accident.
This made the school zone a prime candidate for the city's photo radar pilot project. A camera was set up for 4 months collecting speed data.
Over 60% of cars were speeding and over 25% were going over 10 kilometers.
So when we were part of the pilot, it felt like we had accomplished something.
The school's parent association had a lot of success in advocating for traffic safety, getting things like barriers put up, more signage, and speed reduced. So when they learned they wouldn't be getting an automated speed enforcement camera for real this time,
we were pretty disappointed.
50 cameras have been installed across Toronto, 2 per ward.
So a lot goes into selecting where the cameras go. I mentioned they have to be in a community safety zone. That's a requirement of the legislation.
That requires a sign, probably the only sign Allenby's school zone doesn't have. And
there's very limited space in terms of where the camera can go. But it's something that we expect to be able to address sort of for the next round of installations.
Cameras will relocate every 6 months, so Speed Enforcement Day will come to Allenby Junior Public School, and that's a win for them. In fact, it's parents who have been some of the most vocal in their support for photo radar across the province. 2 to 1 people were for it.
There's a difference between the old program that people were opposed to and I think this program.
Photo radar was once proposed for Ontario highways. This is about slowing people down in neighborhoods so people like Willem can get to school safely.
What do you want to say to drivers?
Stop going so fast.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
We met on a gig and we needed a cellist, an extra, and so we invited Alistair to play with us. And, yeah.
I thought she was really cute.
I thought he was pretty cute.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Coming up on this Valentine's Day, we introduce you to a few couples in perfect harmony.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
The nominees for this year's Basketball Hall of Fame player inductees is out, leading the way for the class of 2020, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and of course the late Kobe Bryant. His name included following his tragic death last month. The inductees will be chosen in early April. And thanks to this kick, the NHL is suspending Edmonton Oilers forward Zach Kassian for 7 games without pay. After being taken down in last night's game, he kicked Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman Eric Cernak in the chest. The league says the kick was in no way justified. Colette's back with her extended forecast. We got some warmer temperatures to look forward to this Family Day weekend.
Yeah, we sure do. We find that the temperatures are going to rebound as soon as tomorrow back to seasonal, but by Sunday, they're actually going to be again on the mild side of things with daytime highs above freezing. But overnight tonight, we've got another cold one. Not as cold as last night, but just know it is still cold. There's our turnaround with milder conditions coming in into the weekend. And for Saturday night, a weak system pushing through, a dusting of snow is coming our way. So we're kind of seeing a series, high pressure, then a system, then high pressure, then another low pressure system. So here we are under the influence of high pressure with clockwise circulation. That means on the backside, we get into the southwesterly flow. We're already seeing it, but it's going to pick up a little bit as that cold front is encroaching. So it gets breezy, but it helps bring the temperatures up. Now, along the lakeshore, we may see a little bit of cloud cover in there in the GTA, but there should be some sunshine as well until later in the day, and that's when the clouds thicken up as this approaches. Now, we'll find that we'll get into some flurry activity from southwestern Ontario, stretching all the way up towards the GTA into cottage country. Might pick up 4 to 5 centimeters from this. Otherwise, it's a dusting to kind of 1 or 2. That's about it that's coming out of it. So it's kind of moisture starved, and I think in many cases that's kind of a good thing. Then there's that next ridge of high pressure for Family Day, so it does mean we're going to see sunshine on Monday, but after the warm-up Sunday, the temperatures come down a little bit. That's okay. The next one in our series will be moving in as we go into Tuesday. The temperatures are going to go back up again. You got to see the 5-day forecast. There's a lot of up and downs that we'll see. This is what I mean, Mount Forest, where you're more towards that 5, even 6 centimeters. This is that system Saturday night into Sunday, but I've got nothing in terms of accumulations back towards Windsor, Hamilton. Might see a centimeter or so through there. So it's not all that significant. These are, though, still a very cold night tonight for southwestern Ontario with lows of -13 to -14. And even tomorrow afternoon, because of the breezy conditions, now these clouds are going to really thicken up on you quicker than they will in the GTA. It's still going to feel like about -10, even though the temperatures rebound to seasonal. Still on the cold side tonight through the GTA. Tomorrow, though, there you go, coming right back up. And just know that it may be a little bit slick on the roads there as you go into Sunday morning because of that little bit of light activity. But Sunday does go up to 2 degrees, Monday -2, and there's the next system pushing us up to to 5 degrees. Now, with that one, we may see 5 centimeters or so, but kind of a sloppy mix because of those temperatures.
Sloppy. Right? What a rebound from today. Thanks a lot, Colette.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, here is a sweet way to mark Valentine's Day. Models wearing chocolate gowns hit the runway for a fashion show in Belgium. Designers spent months creating these mouth-watering creations. The show is part of the annual Chocolate Festival in Brussels. It attracts about 25,000 visitors and participants every year. We'll be right back. Shakespeare's Twelfth Night opens with the line, "If music be the food of love, play on." Well, these next couples know all about that. They are all members of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. We caught up with them to hear their stories.
Leslie and I have been married for 31 years.
The orchestra was on one of our European tours in 1986. Mark was just new to the orchestra. It was really that old story you hear of our eyes just kind of met across the table. I play in the first violin section of the Toronto Symphony, and I also play mandolin when it's needed.
I don't play as much as the violins do, but when I do, it's often big dramatic moments and extreme, playing extremely loud or extremely soft.
Last year, we got to play different instruments on stage. Mark played the guitar, and I played the mandolin in Mahler's 7th Symphony. For that movement, we were seated next to each other, which would never happen otherwise, and that was really cool.
Go for it.
My name is Ashley Vandiver. I am a violist.
My name is Alistair Eng. I'm a cellist in the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. The two of us have been married since 2010. We'll be celebrating 10 years.
We met on a gig in Boston.
Thought she was really cute.
I thought he was pretty cute. So Alistair was a cellist in the Canadian Opera Company, and I was playing in the National Arts Centre Orchestra in Ottawa. We really wanted to live together in the same city, like most married couples. I auditioned here. It was a very stressful time. The pressure of knowing that if things go your way, you could live with your husband was tremendous. It was just such a wonderful result.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate because it's it's hard enough to win one audition, and then for two people to win auditions in the same place is, we're so fortunate.
Very fortunate indeed. You can hear more from them on Our Toronto This Weekend. That's Sunday at noon on CBC Television. Maryville Truk has your next local news tomorrow night at 6. Happy Valentine's Day and have a great Family Day long weekend. Good night.